Hey everybody, it's Jedi Jack Luther, and I didn't think I'd ever get back on YouTube. But things have changed, situations have changed, and I saw I had 22 subscribers. And I'm thinking, I can't let those 22 people just hang. I gotta do something, I gotta get back on the air for those 22 people, because it could become 23, and that would be fantastic. 22 people, couldn't believe it. So I'm back on the air. So I decided if I'm going to go back on What's in the Box, start a show up again, I need something monumental. I needed something huge. I needed something so big, because I just can't get a figure in the mail and start up What's in the Box. We need to start it with something massive. Well, we got a box in today, and this is the perfect box for What's in the Box. Wait till you see this thing. Hang on. Oh, look at the size. I came with the whole thing on the screen. I'm gonna back it up. Look at the size of this box. Now you're probably thinking, well, you got the show name What's in the Box. What's in the box? What could be in there? It's so big. Could it, or is it something small and someone pulled a prank on you? Nope. Our good friends at eBay don't disappoint. So we're going to go back to about the early 2000s. Hasbro is pumping out all sorts of different figures. And they have the Power of the Force line, which is making all sorts of new stuff. And I have a few of the figures. This particular item, my friend Nick Conklin has. And when I saw it, I thought, man, that is the coolest thing. And he got his, I think, relatively cheap. And when I saw it, I thought, man, that is the coolest thing. But it's so expensive on eBay, it was very difficult to find one. Well, I found one for a steal, and I had to pick it up, had to jump on it. Because I kind of always, this is one of those things that I've always wanted, but it was so expensive, it's like, I'm not going to worry about it, but I got a deal on it, and we got it. So what's in the box? Well, none other. When Hasbro started coming back, they did something Kenner had originally started, making the 12-inch figures. So, we have today the 12-inch Sand Trooper with the matching dewback animal on it. This thing, I can't even explain how massively huge this is. Even when you look on it on eBay, it doesn't look that big until you get it and you realize that the dewback is the size of a large house cat or a small dog. I mean, literally, this is a pet in itself. The thing is so huge, it's massive. And I've always kind of liked the Sand Trooper dewback combo. It's one of my favorite themes from A New Hope. Is the, I have a number of Sand Troopers that I've collected, and Walmart put out a legacy set with a Sand Trooper and a dewback, but then they made the dewback separate so you could buy just the animal itself if you needed a backup animal, which I have that one, plus a bunch of other Sand Troopers. At some point I'd like to get another one of those dewbacks from the legacy set to add on to the collection to make it look nice. But this thing is beyond massively huge. I'm going to use our trusty knife to get into this box. I'm cutting away. Can we get into this thing yet? Good. Hang on. We're stuck. There we go. Sorry. This thing is so big, I have to do this off camera. I really wish, Let's see if we can. This is, once again, I just got to show you the sheer enormousness of this thing. It is so big, it won't fit on the camera. And I got to undo the wire straps on this thing. got one piece out. Holy cow. Here is the backpack to the Sand Trooper. This is as big as a Kenner figure. That is how I have to block. I can't even see the camera now. That's how big this thing is. It is enormous. Let's see if I can readjust the... Okay. I got this on. There we go. Now you notice the tail is kind of bent backwards. This actually is a common complaint with these figures. I've seen them online a lot. That because this animal was so big, they had to bend the tail backwards. So you end up with a... The tail usually doesn't look that good, but if you play around with it enough, you may be able to get it straightened out and get it to make it look a little bit better. Because you can only imagine they couldn't put it in a bigger box. I mean, the box itself is huge. The Sand Trooper does not come with a gun. He comes with the backpack that I showed you and the lance that they use, I guess, to tase the animals to get them to move. From what I can understand, the dewback is a native of Tatooine, and the Sand Troopers utilize them to get across the desert to look for the droids. This is not the biggest toy I own, but it is literally right up there. It is. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, just someone came up with the idea. Hey, let's do a 12-inch Sand Trooper. Yeah, but let's go a little bit further. Let's make the dewback in scale. The dewback, I believe, is 32 inches. I don't know if they're 100% in scale with each other. I'd have to look at the movie, although I've watched the movie 50 billion times. You kind of have to study that to see whether or not this is in scale. I think it's pretty close, but I thought the animals were much bigger than the humans. So I don't know if this is entirely in scale, but this is probably the biggest they could make it without it being so outrageously huge. All that plastic and charging a lot of money and no one picking it up is, you know, a risk. Let's see if I can get these straps off here. These are those wire things that are wrapped in plastic, so if you get one going, you usually can get it unwound pretty quickly. Bound at the bottom too. You can tell one thing, Hasbro loved their twist ties. Oh my word, this thing is just completely wrapped up in there. There we go. Wow. Good job sealing him up. I got the figure out. Man, this thing is... He's got... the armor is soft rubber plastic. He's got a black, basically bodysuit underneath. The head is not a helmet that can be removed. It's actually part of the figure. He's got joints in him, but I don't feel a knee joint, which is going to make it. I mean, he'd have to side saddle like that, but he does have elbow joints. He's got wrist joints, and they can turn. His head can turn. It's a beautiful looking figure. I mean, just the figure alone is absolutely gorgeous. He has his backpack, which plugs into his back like so. And come on. There we go. His giant lance he uses to control the animal. The lance is taller than he is. It's a beautiful figure. Just this alone is a wonderful addition to my collection. Being just a huge, I do not know if there's a way that the head pops off and you could remove the shoulder paladin and the backpack and you have a regular stormtrooper for your collection. But like I said, he does not come with a gun. He doesn't even have a holster for a gun. So he'd be a weaponless stormtrooper. But the figure itself is absolutely beautiful. I'm coming up on my time limit that I can put a video on YouTube. So I tell you what, we'll call this part 1. And I'm going to come back with part 2 and show you the animal. That gives me time to get that whole thing out of there. And I can spend time showing off the animal. I will be back for part 2 of the brand new, not so brand new, What's in the Box.